On the water, retrace the path of Southwest Florida's ancient civilization, the Calusa Indians, by following the Great Calusa Blueway paddling trail. Here, Florida residents and visitors can connect with the cultural heritage of the region by viewing archaeological sites along the path.
The Great Calusa Blueway is a marked paddling trail. You know how when you go to a state park and you meet a ranger and you say, I want to take a little hike here, but I'm not familiar, and he gives you a map, and then as you walk the trail, you can kind of keep track of where you are. Well, nothing like that existed for paddlers, and a lot of our shoreline kind of looks alike. So what the Blueway is a way to get a map and explore the coastal and interior waters with the assurance that you're going essentially the right way.
But whichever direction one follows, native Florida plant life is impossible to miss, like the lilies growing along the bank of the Orange River, just outside of Manatee Park, or the leather ferns that seem to lazily stretch into the water.
People sometimes think of ferns as like potted plants in dentist's offices, but you can see here, like the leather fern is, in some cases, 6 feet tall. Kind of adds to the mystique of Florida. Really, when you go paddling, it's almost like you're paddling through a watercolor or a photograph, because so many places along the Blueway are picturesque. And if you're on a segment of the river like this where you're by yourself, it's just you and the water and the wildlife and the trees.
Connecting with nature is just one of the benefits of kayaking. Paddling also keeps your body active while your mind relaxes. Plus, it's a great way to meet people who are interested in the outdoors. Lee County resident Terry Brennan has been kayaking the Great Calusa Blueway for 15 years. He is also a member of the public kayaking club that organizes group outings.
The local paddling club is the Southwest Florida Paddling Club, and it's here in Estero, actually, and it offers people an opportunity to connect with other people that are interested in the sport, to learn about paddling, and to go on trips around the local area.
Southwest Florida kayaking, it's a fun sport. How about we put it that way? It's a little bit more leisurely paced than that whitewater stuff you see. That said, you can still get a workout. There's something to be said for your mind, body, and spirit when you're outdoors. You know, emotionally and mentally, that's a huge boost. Add that into like making your muscles work a little bit, yeah, it's a good exercise activity. It's also very accessible. If you're a baby boomer and you blew out your knees on the basketball court, get in a kayak. If you're older and you don't particularly love to do walking, you can't run anymore, get in a kayak. If you're a little kid and you get sick of trying to keep up with mom and dad when they go for long walks, get in a kayak.
Inexperience should never be a deterring factor for a new kayaker. However, veteran paddlers offer a few pointers.
If you paddle correctly, you will get a great deal more out of the paddle. You will go faster or farther with the same effort. It's amazing how different it can be. Just a simple thing like raising the paddle to an almost vertical position, as opposed to what most people do. If you keep the paddle vertical and stroke down into the water, you're going to go a great deal farther with the same effort.
Other things to remember technique-wise is sometimes people grip their paddle really, really tight because you really don't want to lose it because then you can't move your boat. But in fact, if you just take your hand and make an OK symbol and then put that OK symbol on the paddle and then put your other fingers down, really that's about as tight as you need to be. If you grab your paddle really tight for the whole time you're out, you're going to start to feel strain in your arms.
Also, remember to paddle slowly. There's no need to rush while kayaking along the always peaceful Orange River. In fact, sometimes it's nice just to drift, letting the kayak glide through the water while listening to the peaceful sounds of nature. In Southwest Florida, kayaking is truly a sport about wellness.
And I got into this sport because I wanted to do something, I wanted to be able to do something well into my life. I'm 64 years old. I wanted to be able to kayak to the end of my life.
Leisurely kayaking isn't limited to rivers. Estuaries such as Estero Beach and Lovers Key Park are typically calm and provide a gentle paddle. Florida master naturalist Connie Langman explains the difference between a river and an estuary as mainly seen in wildlife.
All the estuaries of the world are where rivers and, freshwater and saltwater mix together and they are known as the cradles of the ocean because 90% of the creatures that are in the ocean spend a critical portion of their lifespan in an estuary. In the estuaries, back in the back bays, you can see a lot of wildlife because of all the little fish and little creatures that live in there, the shrimps and the crabs and the fish. We have a lot of animals that eat those animals. So we've got the little fish, then the bigger fish, and then we have the predators, such as the osprey or the pelicans or the bald eagles or the dolphins eating the bigger fish. And you've got a wide array of birds. We have, in this area, we have about 180 resident species of birds, and in the wintertime that gets bolstered to about 300 species of bird.
The estuaries of Florida are filled with a variety of species. Even seagulls seem to take on a new life when viewed from a kayak.
Kayaking is really a solitary sport, even if you're with other people. It's also very quiet out there, amazingly quiet. And you have an opportunity to truly experience the feelings of being in an estuary.
You feel very much a part of the environment that you're paddling in. You're sitting right at water level. You're eye to eye with many birds. You're more apt to see animals because we're so quiet, and we actually have to be careful not to sneak up on the animals and startle them, so we have to take that privilege, and we get intimate with nature by getting so close to the mangroves and seeing the wildlife and all of the environment up close and personal and going where nobody else can go.
Kayakers can truly unplug from the everyday. Out here, ringing cell phones, long lines, and heavy traffic do not exist.
Wonderful thing about kayaking is that when you're on the water, you're in a very quiet place. It's very, very easy to forget about the rigors of everyday life and really get together with the people that are with you, if there is anyone with you, or with the environment if you're by yourself.
Kayaking is all about escaping the everyday, keeping active, and connecting with other Southwest Floridians.